Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Simple English Cast. I'm Alex, your host, and today we have a very special guest with us. Her name is Mira, and she's a language enthusiast who loves helping people speak English without any fear. Mira, it is so great to have you here today. How are you doing?
Hi, Alex. Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm doing wonderful. And honestly, I've been looking forward to this chat all week. Hello to all our amazing listeners out there, too.
Yeah, the listeners are going to love this one. Today, we are diving deep into how to build real confidence when speaking English. We aren't talking about hard grammar rules today, guys. We're talking about real life, making mistakes, and just getting comfortable. So, Mira, let's start with a big question. Why do you think so many people feel terrified when they try to speak English?
Oh, that is the golden question, isn't it? Honestly, Alex, I think it all comes down to the fear of judgment. People aren't actually afraid of the English language itself. They're afraid of looking foolish. They think, what if I use the wrong word? What if my accent sounds funny? It's that little voice in your head that creates the fear, not the vocabulary.
That makes so much sense. I mean, think about a guy named John from New York who tries to learn Spanish. When he goes to a restaurant and tries to order, his heart starts beating fast. He worries the waiter will laugh at him. But in reality, the waiter's just happy John is trying, right?
Exactly. That is a perfect example, Alex. John is putting so much pressure on himself. The waiter just wants to know if John wants chicken or fish. We forget that communication is just about sharing a message. It's not a school test where someone's holding a red pen to mark your mistakes.
Right, right. It's a tool for connection, not a competition. But how does someone actually stop that little voice in their head? If I'm standing in front of someone and my mind suddenly goes completely blank, what do I do in that exact second?
The first thing you need to do is breathe. Just take a deep breath. Seriously, when we get nervous, we stop breathing properly and our brain panics. Second, don't be afraid of silence. It is totally okay to say, let me think for a second. It sounds so natural. A native speaker like Sarah from London does that all the time when she's thinking about what to say next.
Oh, that's a great tip. Saying, let me think, actually buys you time and it makes you sound super natural. I love that. Instead of saying, or just freezing up like a statue.
Exactly. No one wants to look like a statue. It's all about using those little filler phrases. Phrases like, or well, or let's see. They give your brain a few extra seconds to find the right words while keeping the conversation moving smoothly.
Let's talk about vocabulary for a moment, Mira. A lot of learners think they need to know all the biggest, most complicated words in the dictionary to sound smart. Is that true?
Oh, absolutely not. In fact, it's usually the opposite. If you look at everyday conversations between people in London or Chicago, they use very simple words. Let's look at an example. Imagine a guy named Tom. Tom wants to tell his friend David that he is tired. He doesn't say, I am completely fatigued and exhausted by my daily endeavors. No way. He just says, man, I'm so tired today.
Yeah, if Tom said fatigued by my daily endeavors, David would probably look at him like he's an alien.
Right. It sounds like a textbook, not a human being. Simple English is powerful English. If you can explain your thoughts using basic words, you are already an excellent communicator. Don't waste your time memorizing words you'll never use in real life. Focus on the words you use every single day.
That is a huge relief, honestly. I think a lot of our listeners are breathing a sigh of relief right now. But what about pronunciation and accents? People get so worried about having a perfect accent, like they need to sound exactly like a TV news anchor.
Oh, don't get me started on accents, Alex. Accents are beautiful. An accent tells a story of who you are and where you come from. It's your identity. Think about a girl named Anna from Italy who moves to Seattle. She speaks English with a lovely Italian accent. Does it stop people from understanding her? Not at all. People actually find it charming. The goal is clarity, not perfection.
Clarity over perfection. I really like that phrase. Can you explain the difference between the two?
Sure. Perfection means you never make a mistake. You sound exactly like a native speaker, and you follow every single rule perfectly. That is an impossible standard, even for native speakers. Clarity, on the other hand, just means the other person understands what you want. If Anna wants a cup of coffee and she says, "Please, I want coffee," and the barista gives her coffee, boom, that is clear communication. It's a success.
Success. Simple as that. You got your coffee, the day moves on, everyone is happy.
Exactly. It's all about lowering the bar of pressure you put on yourself. When you stop trying to be perfect, you suddenly start having fun with the language. And when you have fun, your confidence skyrockets.
How can someone actually practice having fun with English if they live in a place where nobody speaks it?
That is a challenge a lot of people face, Alex. But the good news is we live in a digital world now. You don't need to live in New York or Sydney to practice English. You can create your own English environment right at home. For example, think about a girl named Lily. She lives in a small town and nobody around her speaks English. What does she do? She changes her phone settings to English. She watches her favorite cooking shows in English. She even talks to her cat in English.
Wait, talking to her cat? Does the cat understand English?
Well, the cat probably doesn't care about the language. It just wants food. But for Lily, it's amazing practice. She is speaking out loud without anyone judging her. She can say, "Look, kitty, I am making breakfast now. This is an egg. This is bread." She's training her mouth muscles to speak English words without any stress.
That is actually brilliant. Talking out loud to yourself or a pet removes all the fear because there's zero judgment. The cat isn't going to correct your grammar.
Exactly, and it helps you start thinking in English. A lot of learners translate from their native language to English in their head before they speak. That takes so much time, and it makes you hesitate. But if you just start naming things around your room out loud, table, chair, window, you start connecting the object directly to the English word.
Right, you cut out the middleman. You don't go from your language to the word, you just go straight to English. What about movies and TV shows, Mira? A lot of people say, "Alex, I watch movies with subtitles, but I still can't speak." What are they doing wrong?
Watching movies passively doesn't help you speak. It only helps you listen. If you want to improve your speaking, you have to use a technique called shadowing. Have you ever heard of that, Alex?
I have, but let's explain it for our listeners. How does shadowing actually work in real life?
It's super simple. Imagine you're watching a movie and a character named Mark says, "Wow, that's a beautiful morning." You immediately repeat the sentence right after him, trying to copy his tone, his speed, and his emotion. You become his shadow. You don't just listen, you speak with him.
Oh, so you're active. You aren't just sitting on the couch eating popcorn, you're actively engaging your voice.
Exactly. Do it for just 10 minutes a day. Pick a character you like. If you like how a character named Emma speaks in a drama show, shadow her. Copy how she says hello, how she expresses surprise, how she asks questions. It teaches you the rhythm of the language. English has a specific music to it, a rhythm of ups and downs. Shadowing helps you catch that music.
I love that idea of English having music. It really does. Some words are stressed, some are soft. It's not flat.
No, it's not flat at all. If you speak flatly, you sound like a robot. I am going to the store. Nobody talks like that. We say, "I'm going to the store." The voice jumps up on the important word. Shadowing helps you naturally pick up those jumps without studying boring grammar rules.
Let's talk about reading. Does reading help you speak better? Because some people think reading is only for vocabulary and writing.
Reading helps immensely, but only if you read out loud. If you read silently, you're only training your eyes and your brain. But if you open a simple book, maybe a storybook for young adults, and read it out loud, you're practicing speaking. You're forcing your mouth to form sentences that are already correctly written. It builds muscle memory.
Muscle memory is so important. I remember when a friend of mine, Robert, started learning to drive a car. At first, he had to think about everything. Where's the brake? Where's the mirror? But after a few months, his muscles just knew what to do. Is it the same with speaking English?
It is exactly the same, Alex. That is a beautiful comparison. In the beginning, your tongue feels heavy and your jaw feels tight because English uses different muscles than your native language. By reading out loud and shadowing, you're taking that car out for a drive every day.
Eventually, you don't think about how to move your mouth. It just happens automatically.
That sounds like the dream, Mira. Just speaking without thinking. But it takes time, right? How much time should someone spend on this every day? People are busy. They have jobs, families, school. They don't have 4 hours a day to study.
Oh, you definitely don't need 4 hours. Who has 4 hours? Even 15 minutes of focused practice every single day is much better than studying for 3 hours only on Sundays. Consistency is the secret key. Think of it like going to the gym. If you go to the gym for 7 hours 1 day a week, you'll just hurt yourself. But if you go for 20 minutes every day, you'll see real results really quickly.
Consistency over intensity. Wow, we're getting some great phrases today. So 15 minutes a day, 5 minutes of reading out loud, 5 minutes of shadowing, and 5 minutes of talking to your pet or yourself in the mirror. Anyone can find 15 minutes in their day.
Absolutely. You can do it while making coffee, while driving to work, or while waiting for the bus. There are no excuses.
Mira, let's talk about social situations. Imagine a listener. Let's call her Sophia. Sophia goes to an English-speaking meetup or a business meeting. She wants to speak, but there are native speakers there and she feels completely intimidated. What is her game plan?
Oh, poor Sophia. We have all been there, feeling like the smallest person in the room. My biggest advice for Sophia is this. Start by being a world-class listener. You don't have to enter a room and immediately start giving a grand speech. Listen to what people are saying. Nod your head, smile, and show that you are engaged.
Okay, so listening first reduces the pressure to perform right away. But eventually, Sophia has to say something, right? She can't just nod forever.
Right. Otherwise, people will think she's just a very happy robot. When she wants to join the conversation, the easiest way is to ask a question. Questions are magic, Alex. Why? Because when you ask a question, you put the spotlight back on the other person. You don't have to speak a lot. You just get them talking.
Oh, that is a brilliant strategy. Give me an example of a simple question Sophia could ask in a casual conversation.
Sure. Imagine people are talking about movies. Sophia doesn't know how to explain her deep thoughts on a movie in perfect English yet. She can just say, "Oh, I haven't seen that movie yet. Is it really good? What did you like about it?" See? That is a simple, correct sentence. Now, the other person will talk for the next 3 minutes and Sophia can just relax and listen.
Wow, that completely shifts the pressure. You go from feeling like you have to perform to just being a curious person, and people love talking about themselves and their opinions.
Exactly. People love to be heard. If you ask people questions, they will actually think you are a fantastic conversationalist, even if you only spoke 3 sentences. It's a wonderful secret.
That is a great hack for introverts too, not just language learners. Now, what if Sophia is speaking and she realizes she made a massive mistake, like she used the past tense instead of the present tense and she noticed the other person looked a bit confused? How should she handle that moment without losing her confidence?
The worst thing you can do is freeze up and start apologizing frantically. Don't say, "Oh, sorry, my English is so bad, I am so stupid." No, don't do that to yourself. Mistakes are normal. If you notice a mistake and want to correct it, just laugh it off and correct it naturally. You can say, "Oh, sorry, I meant to say went, not go," and then keep going.
Right, just correct it and move on. Don't make a big deal out of it.
Exactly. Think about a guy named Kevin who's giving a presentation at work in his native language. If he trips over a word, does he stop the whole presentation and cry? No. He just chuckles, repeats the word correctly, and carries on. We need to treat English the same way. It's just communication. It's not a life or death situation.
I think we often forget that native speakers make mistakes all the time, too. I mean, I stumble over my words every day. I forget words, I use the wrong grammar sometimes when I'm tired. It's just human nature.
Oh, absolutely. Native speakers are not grammar textbooks walking around on 2 legs. They make mistakes, they use slang, they speak incomplete sentences. If a native speaker can make mistakes, why can't a learner make mistakes? Give yourself some grace.
Give yourself some grace. I love that. Now, let's talk about a very specific problem. Vocabulary memory loss. You know that feeling when you know a word, you've studied it 50 times, it's on the tip of your tongue, but you just cannot remember it in the moment. How do we fix that?
Ah, the tip of the tongue syndrome. It's so frustrating. If you forget a specific word, you need to learn the art of paraphrasing. Paraphrasing just means describing the word using other words. Let's say you forget the word refrigerator. You're at a friend's house. Let's say her name is Rachel. You want to ask where the fridge is, but the word refrigerator has vanished from your brain.
Oh no! What do you say to Rachel then? Where's the big cold box?
Yes, exactly. You can say, "Hey, Rachel, where's the big kitchen machine that keeps the food cold?" Rachel will immediately say, "Oh, the fridge. It's right there." Boom, problem solved. You didn't need the exact word to get the message across.
That is such a practical skill. It's like a game of taboo where you have to describe something without saying the actual word. It turns a frustrating moment into a creative game.
Yes, and it keeps the conversation flowing. The moment you stop and try to force your brain to find that one specific word, the energy of the conversation drops. But if you just describe it, it stays fun and alive. You're showing that you are a flexible speaker. That is true fluency, not knowing every word, but knowing how to manage when you don't know a word.
Let's talk about the long-term mindset. Learning a language is a journey, right? It doesn't happen overnight.
It really is a journey, Alex. It's a marathon, not a sprint. A lot of people start learning English with so much excitement. They buy books, they watch videos, they practice every day for 2 weeks, but then life gets busy, or they don't see massive results immediately and they get discouraged. They think, I'm just not good at languages. I should give up.
Yeah, the disappointment wall. Everyone hits it. How do you climb over that wall?
You climb over it by changing how you measure your progress. Don't look at how far you have to go to sound like a Hollywood actor. Look back at how far you have already come. Think about a student named Ben. A year ago, Ben couldn't even order food in English. Today, he can watch a YouTube video and understand 50% of it. That is huge progress. But if Ben only focuses on the 50% he doesn't understand, he feels like a failure.
That's a powerful mindset shift. Celebrate the small wins. If you learned 3 new words today, that's a win. If you understood a joke in an English podcast, that's a win.
Exactly. Celebrate those little moments. Write them down in a notebook if you have to. A success journal. Write things like, "Today I understood a whole sentence without subtitles," or "Today I said hello to a colleague in English." When you look back at that journal after 6 months, you will be amazed at how much you've grown.
I think another big thing is finding your why. Why are you learning English? Is it for a better job? Is it to travel the world? Is it to make international friends? If your why is strong enough, it'll keep you going even when you feel lazy or frustrated.
Oh, absolutely, Alex. Your why is your fuel. Let's take an example of a father named William. William wants to learn English because he wants to read bedtime stories to his young daughter in English and give her a head start in life. That is a beautiful, emotional why. Whenever William feels tired after a long day of work, he thinks of his daughter's smile and he opens his English book for 10 minutes. That motivation is much stronger than just wanting to pass a random exam.
Wow, that's beautiful. That really brings it home. English isn't just a subject in school. It's a gateway to new opportunities, new relationships, and a bigger world.
It truly is. And to all our listeners out there, I want to say one final thing. Please be kind to yourself. You are learning a whole new way to express your soul to the world. It takes courage to speak a foreign language. Every time you open your mouth to try, you should be proud of yourself. Don't let fear hold you back from sharing your voice with the world.
Wow, Mira, that is the perfect note to end on. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, your stories, and your amazing energy with us today. I know our listeners are feeling incredibly motivated right now.
Thank you so much for having me, Alex. It was an absolute joy. Keep speaking, everyone, and don't forget to have fun.
You heard her, guys. Have fun, practice for your 15 minutes today, and don't worry about being perfect. You are doing great. Thank you for listening to Simple English Cast. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment down below to tell us your favorite tip from today's episode, and we will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.